What's up, iHeart? It's Thomas Rhett, and here's an inside look at my brand new album, Where We Started. Make sure you check it out on iHeartRadio.
I've bet my life on that Everest I was climbing, bet my life on the crooked road that I was riding. Not every battle's worth it.
The Hill, probably one of my favorite songs I've been a part of recording. And also one of the very, very few songs that I've recorded in the last few records that I was not a writer on. I feel like for me it takes a really special song to record it if I wasn't a writer, just because I feel like I offer so much of my personal life into my music that I remember when I heard this song for the first time, Jordan Reynolds, Lori McKenna, and Emily Wiseman wrote this song, and Jordan sent it to me, and it literally felt like I was in the room when they wrote it. The Hill to me describes so much of my, last 6 or 7 years of life, just grinding so hard and just wanting nothing but success and just wanting to just be the best. And The Hill to me was like, when I heard the hook, like, fighting for you is the hill that I want to die on. And you hear that phrase a lot, like, I'm not going to die on that hill. And for me, like in the very first chord where it says that Everest I was climbing, the crooked road that I was riding, but fighting for you is the hill that I will spend the rest of my life making sure that is the best. And it hit me in such a way that I was just like, I have to record this song.
I kinda don't care. I think old Alan Jackson said it best. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Half of me wants a cold beer.
Half of Me, I think, was like the quickest song that I've ever written. I remember being on the road with my dad, Josh Thompson, and Will Bundy, and it was right after we had written this song called To the Guys That Date My Girls, which was on my previous record. And we were debating, do we want to go get lunch? I remember Josh walking up the bus. I was like, man, I might get a quick workout in. I was like, do you want to work out with me? And Josh was like, man, half of me wants to drink a cold beer, and so does the other half. And I remember it was like, we have to go write that right now. So we went on the bus, and we literally sat there for 35 minutes, and this song just fell out. And when we went in the studio to record it, I was like, this song is so cool. I love it. Who could we get on here to feature? And Riley Green and I have become really good buddies over the last couple of years. And I remember sending him that song and had forgotten that I played it for him like a year previous, and we never talked about it again. And I said, man, would you feature on this? And he was like, absolutely. And I remember Riley pulls up to my producer's house, and literally 3 takes, and it was done. He's so good, so talented. I think people are really going to enjoy this song. I've been playing it live on the road this year, just acoustic, just see what people thought about it, and it's gotten really cool reactions. So excited for everybody to hear the album version.
Just last week I went to prison to see some boys down on death row.
Death Row was a song I wrote a year and a half ago with my buddies Ashley Gorley and Zach Crowell. And if you listen to Country Again Side A, there was a song on there called Blame It on a Back Road. And this, Blame It on a Back Road and Death Row were actually written in the same day, which you're probably asking yourself, how in the world do you get from Blame It on a Back Road to Death Row? And I was asking myself the same question, but I walked over there, and after we'd finished Blame It on a Back Road, I was like, man, I've got this idea that is pretty heavy, and I don't really know how to write it. But the previous December, me and Tyler Hubbard and Russell Dickerson had gone on a somewhat of a mission to the men's prison here in Tennessee. And we were bringing our guitars and walked through like 12 different security doors, and we sat down. And I was like, what are we going to play, And there were like 40 or 50 inmates in there. And I just put out a Christmas song called Christmas in the Country. And I was like, where do y'all want to start? And they literally said Christmas in the Country. And I was like, how in the world do y'all know this song? And they were just talking about how they get like an hour a day to watch CMT. And it was just a crazy, crazy experience. All of us were very nervous. And so we started playing these songs. And after we were done, we kind of were walking around, and and talking to some of the inmates, and they had a death row chaplain who was literally reading us Bible verses, and there were people in there that were also singers, and there was one guy that actually got up there and sang the most amazing version of Amazing Grace that you've ever heard. And we left there like not sure what to feel, except for the fact that obviously they've made some pretty crazy mistakes, but in a weird way, all of us have. And there's parts of our lives that we're ashamed of, and there's parts of our lives that we're not ashamed of. And so there's a part of me that was like, man, I feel like I learned a lot about how to live in the future from the folks we met on death row. I don't really know how we got there, but I started literally just describing this hour-long stint playing for people who knew that they were going to die and the day that they were going to die, which sounds really morbid, and it is. But it's also a redemptive song in many ways of just like how I think any of us can be forgiven for anything. And Tyler and Russell were obviously there with me, and it felt like they had to be on this with me because we experienced those same feelings and emotions while we were there.
Yeah, what can I say? We had our hopes up and the windows down, falling fast in a one-lane town, tangled up a few lips on mine, never seen a brighter green in those eyes.
The idea for Slow Down Summer honestly came from like the day we were writing. We were on a trip to Montana, and one of my buddy's dads lives out there, and so a bunch of us writers and our wives went out there to write and slash fly fish, and we were sitting in this house just like staring out into this field, and we noticed that the leaves were changing. It was starting to get colder outside, and I was playing this like little lick on the guitar, and we were just trying to find a title, and that usually is never how it works in Nashville. A lot of the time, people are looking at their cell phone and they're scrolling through their titles, like, oh, this could fit over that, or this could fit over this, and we spent like 2 hours searching for what this melody felt like, and I just remember looking outside and the leaves were changing, and I was like, man, I just wish summer would slow down. And usually, as a songwriter, when someone says something like that, you're like, oh, that could be cool. So we started writing this song about basically just two young kids just in love, knowing that they have the whole summer together, but also realizing that more than likely it's going to fall apart when the wintertime comes around. I think I imagine like, I don't know, two kids in high school, finishing in their senior year. One's going to one college, one's going to a different college, and they're just like, man, if this could just stop for a minute, we could have so much more time together. And that's really where that song stemmed from, and we got in the studio and recorded it and started adding strings and started adding all these different really, really beautiful types of instrumentation to this song, and quickly became one of my favorite tracks on this record, and really, really excited for just people to hear it, and even more excited to get to play it live. Where We Started, featuring Katy Perry, is probably my favorite track on this record. Obviously, it's the name of the record, and I think that phrase, where we started, just means so much. I could relate it to my marriage. I could relate it to my career. Anytime I've ever been down on my luck or feeling like things aren't going right, I can always look back into like where I began and how much I've grown, and how many things have shifted in my life. And I wrote this song with Ashley Gorley, Jesse Frazier, and John Bellion, who is one of my favorite artists and songwriters. He's written songs for literally everybody. Lately has written the last 3 or 4 Justin Bieber singles. He's one of those people, like when you get in the room with him, you're just so in awe of his talent and his vocal ability and the way that he can string melodies together, and it's just not how my brain works. And so it's really fun to write with John and be creative with John. And he started playing this melody, and I was like, man, I don't even know if I can sing that high. I remember working on this vocal for like a really long time, and we finally finished it, and Allison Jones at the record label was like, I feel like a female feature would be really cool on this. And I was like, well, who you got in mind? And she was like, I was thinking Katy Perry. And I was like, wow, like really, really shooting for the stars here. I honestly didn't think that Katy was going to do anything with it, much less like it. And I remember the next day, Allison said, Katy's in. And I was like, this is nuts. And I remember she called me on the phone, and I was walking in my kitchen. I remember my wife was in there, and kids were in there. I was like, no big deal, just talking to Katy Perry about something. I'll be done in a minute. And it was so surreal, like talking to someone who, I don't know, when I was like 16, 17 years old, like Katy's music was everybody's anthem, everybody's jam, and everybody's got a favorite Katy Perry song. And so when she said that she was going to sing on the song with me, I was shocked. And it turned out so beautiful. One of the most incredible string arrangements I've heard. I remember when I got Katy's vocal back, I was blown away. And I think people are going to freak when they hear this song. It's that special to me. And I hope everybody feels the same way. So.
Just look at that road and think about